so frustrating to perform that well in the first half and be that dominant. Yes, it's obvious. We should have been in a very comfortable position going into half time, and that's the key in these games, especially without crowds, where you can get yourself into that lead and get yourself in that comfortable position. It makes it difficult for the other teams. They end up stretching themselves and scrambling, trying to get back into games. That's what you notice in this period. So frustrating how for all that good play that we did and that control, and we dominated that first half, and then the good chances we had, we weren't ruthless or clinical enough, and then that leaves the door ajar where we made we had a 10-minute period where just a couple of poor decisions making, and we get punished, and then we're the ones in that position where you're thinking, how are we even in this position? And then we're scrambling, we're stretched, and they're trying to pick us off. So frustrating today. I think it's been a little bit of a theme in certain parts of the season where, for all the good play that we've done, we haven't capitalised on that and punished them, it's a big difficult thing to do when you leave the door ajar. Where today we should have firmly shut that door on them. We were so dominant in our first half, great chances, but just weren't ruthless enough.
Have you got enough strike power to punish teams?
Yeah, well, we have what we have, and I believe so. I think, as I said before, there's so much in these games. You can see clearly what we've worked on, and it's hard because you kind of want to credit the players because we've worked only a short space of time on, and the blueprints there. You can see a lot of the things that we're trying to do and how effective that can be. But the ultimate is the result at the end of it. To keep building that and giving that confidence. But we played so well in that first half, and what we didn't do was kill them off. We should have been in a position at half time, comfortable, let them be the ones now that have to stretch and scramble to get back into it, and then we could have been the ones solid and pick them off. But unfortunately, second half, for a couple of minutes of madness where we had a couple of poor decisions and we find ourselves 2 gone, we're the ones that end up scrambling and stretching to try and get back into it. So very, very, very frustrating today, considering again the performance level, especially in that first half where we should have been out of sight.
What's the message to the players? Because you have improved since you restarted, but it is 4 points from 12.
Yeah, look, that will always be there. I'll let you guys do the statistical side of it and pop that however way you want. I totally get that. But the blueprint's there. I think everyone can see from these 4 games is, what we've worked on and what it looks like. So that's the blueprint to go forward. We can see how you saw today, how dominant and effective that can be in that first half. But it's then the savviness that needs to come along with it in time, where we have to be more ruthless. We have to be, killers in when we're so far on top. And then defensively, we have to be able to keep that concentration and not make those couple of mistakes which gift teams the goals to get the lead. That's something that definitely needs to be improved, going forward. But in terms of a blueprint of what we're trying to do and the work that's been done, you can see it clearly in all 4 games. But we need to add that savviness to it now. We need to try and, this period is about trying to use that to help them, these experiences. Hopefully they take that on board and can learn from it. But it's been a few times this season where we've cost ourselves dearly. We're through where it's been overall a good performance. We've in a couple of moments we've cost ourselves the result. So the result will always be the ultimate and what everything's judged on. But as a coach, looking at the game in terms of what we worked and what you see on the football pitch, there's a lot of things throughout these 4 games that have been exactly what the blueprint's going to be. But in between that now, it has to be that savviness of the players and using them, being more clever in situations where we're ruthless, and then defensively not making those mistakes. It's as simple as that.
On a personal point of view, how frustrating is it that you have made great strides in terms of how you're setting up the team and how positive they're playing, and then when it comes down to it, you are just being let down by that edge in front of goal? From a personal frustration, can you describe that?
I think we're all frustrated. The players are as frustrated as me. I think, as I said, it's hard because you sit here with a loss, and a big part of you inside, from a coaching point of view, you can see how well the players have done with a very short period of this, this way of playing, and how well they've done with it across the 4 games as a whole. And then you sit there with the result, and it's, of course, the result is what everyone will look at. Even on Wednesday night, if you didn't see that game, you think of 3-0. Today, you think of that 2-1. Do you know what I mean? It's another loss. Everyone will spin that in that way. That's part of our life. But from a coaching perspective, there's so much they're doing right, but it's then down to that savviness. You know, that's what we're lacking. You know, that savviness of you cannot be that dominant in the first half, create that amount of chances, and not come off with those rewards. That's something we're going to have to get better at and improve. We can work on the training ground, and you know, I think you can see clearly how we're getting into those positions. It's just then that more clinical side, that ruthless side, to take those moments, get yourself the rewards for all that hard work, and then you'll be the ones in it. You would have seen in the second half, had we done that, we would have been the ones that, you know, they would have been the ones chasing and stretching, especially in this period where you can notice that with the crowd getting the first goals and stuff, you know, how teams react. Unfortunately, then we compounded that with a couple of mistakes, and for the sake of a couple of mistakes, we get heavily punished. We find ourselves 2-0 down, a bit bewildered how we 2-0 down. And yeah, in a position that we should never have been in.